everyone, this is Big Installment and we are back again, and here now we have another review. I'm just going to give some quick thoughts on the recent trailer for the Lantern television series and give some thoughts as to whether I think the project will be the best entry or worthwhile entry within the ongoing Chapter 1 of James Gunn's DC Universe. Now, maybe potential spoilers here for all other entries within James Gunn's Chapter 1, so that's talking about the likes of his Superman movie, Peacemaker Season 2, Creature Commandos, and also the upcoming Supergirl movie, so just beware when going to this overall video here. So in terms of the trailer itself, this of course concerns the iconic DC Comics character, and this will overall be an 8-episode series that debuts on HBO Max on the 16th of August 2026. Now, I haven't been enthusiastic about anything prior to James Gunn's projects within his DC chapter. I just think overall he's been the wrong tone and direction for this universe. And in concerning this Lanterns trailer, the approach that they're taking is very much more of a grounded, more realistic take, if that's even possible, for the Green Lantern character. And of the previous footage we've seen, it's going to concern a older, very much jaded version of Hal Jordan as he comes to planet Earth, and he trains very much so a younger John Stewart in terms of harnessing the power of the ring. The story itself will be based on the state of Nebraska, where the two will be investigating a set of murders, and over the course of that story we will see Hal train John in the use of the ring and the legacy and the responsibility that holding the ring involves. Now, in terms of the trailer itself, it has very much more of a darker, almost a post-apocalyptic feel to it. It feels very much more smaller in scale, giving vibes of the previous CW verse. Many people have already criticised the fact that a lot of the trailer and footage that what we've seen so far seems to be Earth-based, and we have had previously a severe lack of Green Lantern-esque action in terms of all of the constructs that are so synonymous with the character, and everybody has been stating that this feels much more like a typical police procedural or an action derivative show that you would normally see on a Tuesday, Wednesday night within US broadcasts. And yes, I do agree with that also of what we've seen so far. If you were to tell me that this were a Green Lantern's show or Green Lantern's project, from what I've seen in terms of the screenshots, you just wouldn't believe it. And I've always stated that any Green Lantern project should take place completely in outer space. By having it Earth-based, I think you take away the special elements of the character. Green Lantern, as we all know, is not a typical superhero where he puts on a costume and goes out and starts to apprehend street criminals, bank robbers, or criminal gangsters. The whole appeal of the Green Lantern concept and idea is that it's very much more of a space adventure, a space opera in many sense, and the fact that you have lots of different Green Lanterns, whether it be Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner or John Stewart, and that they are in charge of a certain sector of the universe. And as you go into the broader elements of the story, you find that there are multiple sources, if you like, of the ring, and they harbour different colours. So obviously green is willpower, yellow is fear, and you also have the likes of the red and the blue also. And that's when you tap in much more into the mythology and the lore, and you have so much more depth and range in terms of storytelling and characterization, and much more range in terms of what can be explored, rather than just keeping it on Earth based where you're already going to have restrictions. And you can see the restrictions in this trailer here. They clearly have a limited budget, so even though yes, we do finally see some sort of Green Lantern effects, we saw how exhibiting it in terms of a shield, and we see earlier on again him exhibiting some powers. So I would imagine in terms of overall project, we'll probably get some Green Lantern action in the beginning and some sort of heavy prologue to describe exactly where Hal has been, how he got the ring, and why exactly he's based on Earth. And then we'll probably get smaller scenes in between, and then we'll probably see a much more balls out action in terms of Green Lantern-esque constructs when we come to the overall finale. So by having it on the Earth based story really feels underwhelming and doesn't feel that you're utilizing the concept overall. And again, when we look at this trailer here, as I mentioned before, it just feels very constrained, very smaller scale, and a Green Lantern story shouldn't be smaller scale because, as I mentioned before, all of the potential adventures in space that you can have. Now yes, we do get a shot finally of the Green Lantern suit. We see how wearing it in what looks like some sort of spaceship. Again, this will probably be in the opening episodes where we see him on traveling to Earth, and he'll be explaining exactly where he's been. So again, I would expect to see, especially Jon Stewart wearing a suit, I would assume in the season finale, as there'll be some sense of passing of the torch from Hal to Jon. So we will see likely an origin story of Jon. We did have all those, I suppose, flashbacks of him when he's in a Marine. That's again the origin of the character. So we will see him in the beginning, and then over the course of the time, there'll be some back and forth and banter between the two characters, very much giving that buddy cop feel, as Hal has to determine whether Jon is a likely recruit of the bearer of the ring. And yes, there'll be some sort of antagonism between the two characters to begin with, and then over the course they'll bond more, and then eventually we'll see Jon inhabit the ring. So very predictable stuff that this trailer is giving vibes of. Now, the more purist Green Lantern fan may not like that we are very much seeing, it seems, a deconstructive take on Hal Jordan himself. Here we can see, as we mentioned before, he's very jaded, much more aged. We see him very much have that more skeptical vibe. I personally don't like the fact that one Green Lantern has to train another. I think what makes it special is that each Green Lantern who is nominated has to learn the trade on their own and go through their own personal discovery as opposed to being guided by another. Many people may not be happy with the fact that Hal is giving the ring to Jon, so that will mean we'll get some sort of story beats where Hal maybe dies or gives up the ring or has to leave and go to another sector. So it will be interesting to see how they react in terms of the overall characterization of Hal Jordan. I just hope we do spend more time tapping into the mythology of the Green Lantern Corps in terms of the Guardians, rather than focusing on the, if you like, criminal cases that very much seems that we'll be following throughout this trailer. If the majority of the story does focus more on those ground-based stories, for me it'll get very boring and very tired very quickly. Now, on the plus side, I suppose we could say at least they are taking this seriously in terms of its tone. We're not getting the kind of more cartoony, wacky approach, the very flippant tone that what we've seen in all of the previous efforts of the James Gunn universe so far. I still don't like the F-bombs being dropped when we see Hal talking in one scene. Again, I think that's another major reason why James Gunn is wrong for the DC universe. So hopefully the R-rated violence, if we do get any R-rated profanity in terms of language, is kept down to an absolute bare minimum. Both actors, Kyle Chandler, who will be playing Hal, and Aaron Peer, who is playing Jon Stewart, they're very competent actors, and there'll be plenty of scope for them to create, hopefully, a chemistry that is appealing to watch. We will, of course, be seeing a further appearance of Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner character, who appeared in the Superman movie. I honestly expect this will be a limited appearance, maybe in the opening episode. Again, it begs the question how on planet Earth we have potentially 3 Green Lanterns on at the same time, which again takes away their uniqueness and speciality. Another mistake of judgment that I think is going on with this character. I do believe that Sinestro will be making an appearance of some sort. So again, how far do they go in terms of the comic book character appearing, the comic book rendition of that character, or will they go for a much more stripped down, restricted approach? And will we see any other appearances of the likes of Kilowog and Tomare and Boudica also? I very much doubt it. Maybe perhaps in the season finale, maybe if this will be the first season much more grounded, and then if it turns out to be successful, season 2 and season 3, if we ever get that far, will expand much more into the universe and a much more classical style Green Lantern story. We will wait and see. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings on the recent Lanterns trailer that dropped and the overall project, the latest chapter within James Gunn's DC universe. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other movies, television series, or any other topics for the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please consider hitting like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.